My name is Anna, and this is my presentation on saltwater fish tanks and their maintenance. It's my informative essay. Saltwater aquariums are so beautiful and intricate that they seem like so much work to take care of. Who wants to spend all their time messing with tanks when it seems so messy? As long as you're consistent, the water will maintain itself along with the rocks and the salt and the filtration and everything, and so it actually becomes easier than what it seems. Using the right equipment, making sure you have heaters and filters and things that are necessary for the tank, it makes it actually really easy as long as you've got all the right equipment and everything. And I would like to explain to you how to take care of a saltwater tank. Watch how easy it is to maintain a beautiful tank. According to About.com, maintaining water quality in a saltwater aquarium is of the utmost importance for a healthy tank. Daily things to do include things like, of course, feeding your fish, watching the temperature. It needs to stay around 78 degrees. You have a little thermometer that sits at the tank. I've got mine in there. You just look at it every day. How hard is it to look at your tank? Just take a look at it. Make sure everybody looks healthy. Nobody's got spots. Make sure nothing is moved. If you have rocks that fall, you need to fix them. Things like that. And then, of course, your lighting. Just looking at everything. Basically, the easiest part is just looking at your tank, making sure that everybody's healthy, swimming around, nobody's sideways, upside down. You should be good to go. Balancing your salinity, which is the amount of salt that's in the water, is important because different fish and basically what you have in there react differently to the buoyancy that the salt creates in the water. So if you've got corals, if you've got, like I have, predator fish, they're actually very hardy. So you could almost not have any salt in there and they'd be okay. But you need to have at least a little bit. You need to test it at least weekly to make sure that you have the right concentration in there. Doing weekly water tests also ensure that everything is in balance as Mother Nature would want it to be. And here's how you test your water. You basically take a kit like this and you test the water. There's different things you need to test for: nitrates, nitrites, pH, and acidity. You want to make sure that everything is balanced with it. It should be. Follow the manufacturer's directions. It tells you exactly what you need to have on there. It's very simple. You use one of these little tubes, put the water in it, test the water, just like you do in a pool. You test the pH, you test the dissolved solids and things like that. As long as you're testing weekly, you should be good to go. This is a hydrometer. This is what you use to test your salt water with. Fill it up with water. There's like here's your suggested percentages of salt that you need in there. As long as it's there, you're good to go. If you need salt, add salt. So that's basically it. So now that we know how to test the water, monitor the basics, let's move on to the equipment. Making sure that you use companies that are well known, such as Tetra, that's been around forever. This is my heater that I have in my salt tank, and also Coralia, which is the power head, which creates the flow, like the ocean with the waves and everything. You need to make sure that you've got the waves, or else the fish get upset and they need the flow. These creators have been around a while and they know their stuff. Hagen, which is the creator of the AquaClear, which is my filter, my hang-on-back filter, been around since 1955. Aqueon, which is the maker of one of the other power heads, is since 1971, and Coralia, which is the other power head, since 1984. So you know that they've been around a while and they know what they're doing. You also need a good filtration system, along with a good heater, thermometer, a lighting system, and some sort of power head, because you want to create the ocean. You got to have the light. You've got to have the sun up, the high sun, the sun down. You've got to have just make it like the ocean. The power head for the circulation, and of course your filter to filter the water. You can sometimes place your thermometer out of the way in a sump, which is what I have, and it basically goes under the tank, and you put the thermometer down there so it doesn't actually get in the way of all the rocks and the fish, so it makes things a lot easier. And then, of course, your lighting depends on what kind of fish you have. If you have corals, depending on what you have, what the amount of sunlight each thing needs, then you base on what kind of light you have. And of course, this is all pre-tank, so none of these decisions are actually going to be thought about when you're doing your water changes and your testing and things like that. So these are all the things that you do before you get your tank running, of course. Now let's talk about water changes. A weekly or bi-weekly water change is probably the hardest part of maintaining your tank. If you do weekly water changes, it should be 25% of the water. If you do bi-weekly water changes, it should be 50% of the water. So basically, you just suck it out. I have this really cool tool. You hook it up to the sink. It sucks the water right out of the tank, puts it right into your sink so you don't have a mess. Change the valve on it, and I put it right back into a bucket because I have to make sure that there's no chlorine, no dissolved solids or anything like that. Add the salt. You're good to go. Let's see. And that's about all. It basically takes me about 10 minutes to do my water change. So 10 minutes every 2 weeks for a saltwater tank is really not that big a deal, you know, comparably to what you would think it would actually take you to maintain a saltwater tank, which, I mean, I've seen so many that are so intricate. And actually salt tanks, the bigger they are, the less time it takes because you've got so much environmental things, the rocks that absorb different things, the sand that absorbs things. You've got snails in there cleaning things. Different shrimps actually eat bad things that are in the tank and things like that. It's all ecosystem. It's just like being in the ocean. So let's review the basic steps. Test the water, watch your fish, make sure that the temperature is correct, weekly, bi-weekly water changes, and that's it. Test your water, and you'll be all set. And you can actually buy the water kits, the testers, in a pack, so it's cheaper than actually buy them individually. And then it is so rewarding to sit back after you did your 15-minute water change and look at your cool tank and watch these fish grow and just all the different things that can live in it. So being able to have something so fascinating in your home is both one of the coolest hobbies as well as a visual bonus in your life and in your home. And here's my audience. The end.